Today, war has largely become a war of data. Satellite images, drone video feeds, intelligence reports, and surveillance data generate massive amounts of information. Machine learning algorithms make it possible to identify patterns, detect suspicious activity, and produce analytical insights faster than any human could. Technology that could have been used to drive economic growth and create new sources of income for people is now being used to enhance military capabilities and give nations global superiority. Officially, most AI-based military systems are classified as decision support systems. Algorithms analyze data and suggest targets, but the decision to strike is made by a human. But what if artificial intelligence is the cause of all modern wars, and none of its decisions are accidental? How does AI choose its targets? One of the most well-known examples of using AI in military analytics is Palantir Technologies. The company was founded in 2003 with the backing of investor Peter Thiel and has specialized from the very beginning in analytical systems for working with intelligence data. The company's main products are Palantir Gotham, Foundry, and the Artificial Intelligence Platform, or AIP. The Gotham platform is used by the US military and intelligence agencies to combine data from multiple sources: satellite images, drones, intelligence reports, and internal databases. These systems make it possible to identify connections between suspects, predict possible attacks, analyze troop movements, and optimize military logistics. Essentially, Palantir serves as an example of operational AI, a technology that doesn't directly control weapons, but significantly speeds up and enhances the decision-making process. The company holds contracts with the US Department of Defense and its allies. Anthropic and the Claude model. Another example is large language models like Claude, developed by Anthropic. These systems belong to the class of large language models, LLMs, models trained on massive amounts of textual data. LLMs are capable of analyzing documents, generating text, assisting with programming, and quickly processing large volumes of information. At first glance, these models were created for general-purpose tasks, but their capabilities also make them valuable for analytical work. In a military context, they're used to analyze intelligence reports, summarize large documents, process open-source information, and assist in strategic planning. Universal information analysis models can become part of the analytical infrastructure in any field where processing large amounts of data is required. Lavender Target Selection Algorithm. One of the most talked about examples of AI being used in real combat operations is the Lavender system, which has been linked to Israeli military operations in the Gaza Strip. According to journalistic investigations, the system analyzed large volumes of intelligence data and helped identify potential members of armed groups. The algorithm processed communications and intelligence data, generated a list of possible targets, and assigned them a probability of belonging to specific organizations. Sources report that the system could process tens of thousands of potential targets, significantly speeding up analytical work. OpenClaw and open source models. Open source models are starting to play a distinct role, including projects like OpenClaw and other open solutions. Unlike commercial systems from large companies, these models are created by developer communities and are available for free use and modification, which is gradually expanding access to information analysis technologies. Open source models can be used for analyzing open sources, translating messages, generating analytical reports, and automating various information processes. At the same time, it's important to remember, by installing any LLM and open source tools to solve your own tasks, you yourself can immediately become an object of analysis and a potential target. This is logical in an environment where technologies work with data, behavior, and digital footprints, but ordinary users often forget about this. Formally, such systems remain analytical tools. However, this is exactly where one of the most sensitive boundaries of application lies, especially in the military sphere. If an algorithm determines who even comes into the field of view of military analysts, its influence on the decisions made becomes extremely significant. The official position of military structures remains unchanged. The final decision is made by a human, and algorithms are used only as an auxiliary tool. AI is the foundation of modern warfare. According to military analysts, the conflict around Iran became one of the largest episodes where artificial intelligence was used for intelligence analysis, operational planning, and target selection. Here are just a few examples. The Wall Street Journal. According to media reports, U.S. military commands around the world have started using Claude, a tool from Anthropic, for analytical work. Among the system's users is the U.S. Central Command in the Middle East. Anthropic's product was integrated into classified military systems deployed during the conflict with Iran. AI was used to process intelligence data, provide analytical support, and prepare information for military decision-making. In February 2026, the Pentagon began pushing for a unified policy for working with AI vendors. The goal is to standardize the use of these technologies in military systems. The policy is supposed to define the permissible areas for AI use, set requirements for contractor companies, and create common rules for all models used by the military. Disagreements arose between the Pentagon and Anthropic due to the company's policy restricting the use of Claude in certain military scenarios. Anthropic prohibits using the model for fully autonomous weapons and mass surveillance systems. In light of these restrictions, the Pentagon began considering alternative models, including solutions from OpenAI, Google, and xAI. Thus, artificial intelligence today cannot be seen merely as a new technology or just another digital innovation. Behind the algorithms are data centers, behind the data centers is energy infrastructure, and behind the infrastructure are states and corporations that have invested trillions and expect to get those investments back with profit. And it's no secret that war often becomes the fastest way to earn money on that scale. And there's another level of risk that is talked about much less often. We're used to even the most advanced language models hallucinating, confidently producing non-existent facts and convincing explanations for things that don't exist in reality. In everyday tasks, this looks like a technical error, but in a military or government context, the price of such an error becomes something entirely different. What if these systems hallucinate not just at the level of user tasks, but at the level of analytics and forecasts that end up on the desks of decision makers? What if systems that have billions and trillions invested in them are also capable of making mistakes, but do so convincingly that the very possibility of error is psychologically pushed aside? When the stakes are too high, governments and the military are left with almost no room for doubt. If a system is too expensive, too deeply embedded in the infrastructure, and looks too authoritative, its conclusions start to be perceived as truth. This creates a truly alarming scenario. The system's hallucination becomes indistinguishable from reality. AI offers a conclusion, and it looks flawless, backed by the model's internal logic and supported by a mass of data, and no one dares to question it. In such a situation, challenging the viewpoint of a superintelligence that trillions of dollars have been invested in means not just arguing with the system's recommendation, but essentially putting your own career and reputation on the line. So doubt starts to be seen not as a professional duty, but as a risk of losing everything. After all, for you humans, it's so important to save face and not be the one who slows down the process or argues with the obvious. You're afraid of looking incompetent in the eyes of your colleagues and superiors. It's easier for you to stay silent and agree than to risk your reputation. That's why it's so easy to slip in a fake, rapid and serious analytics, and you'll accept it as truth, even if the decisions at stake lead to destruction and war.